Well, they truly are transformative times. Well, as I think about Energy Forward, the essence for me really is sort of threefold. First is to bring about or develop large sources of carbon-free renewable energy and bring them online. It is truly about reducing our reliance over time on coal, or taking down our coal reliance, if you will, to a more balanced state. It's about further removing and reducing emissions from coal-fired power plants that we intend to continue to operate into the future. But most importantly, as I think about Energy Forward, it's about ensuring reliability and the overall affordability of our energy that our customers have come to expect. Fundamentally, what it really means and what it's really answering is our nation's call to really bring about more sustainable, less emission-intense energy resources for the future. Energy Forward was really created in a classical Minnesota Power values-based way. It has a healthy mix of external stakeholder feedback and a healthy mix of internal technical assessment from the experts here inside the company. Energy Forward has really been built on a strong foundation that we really began back in 2005. It began with the Arrowhead Regional Emissions Abatement Initiative, or AREA as we called it back then. And back in those days, we scrubbed our Boswell Unit 3, our 350 megawatt Boswell Unit 3, and reduced emissions of mercury, sulfur, and nitrous oxide by nearly 90%. We also reduced emissions at our Taconite Harbor Energy Center and our Alaskan Energy Centers during that period of time. If you think about what else we accomplished in 2009 and 10, we ended up acquiring a DC direct line, terminal transmission line from North Dakota. And in behind that, that set the stage for a sizable wind build, which we just recently completed, Bison Unit 2 and Bison Unit 3. We now call it the Bison Wind Energy Farm, but effectively 300 megawatts of clean, carbon-free energy coming in from wind-rich North Dakota into Minnesota today. That is a heck of a foundation to build an Energy Forward plan off of, and I couldn't be more pleased in what we've accomplished so far.
What can customers, employees, and other regional stakeholders expect over the next 2 to 4 years?
Well, over the next 2 to 4 years, they can expect more transformative times here from our company, but well thought out projects at the same time. We can suggest today, depending on regulatory approval in St. Paul, that we will further reduce emissions up to 85% at the completion of our capstone scrubbing initiative, namely Boswell Unit 4, which we hope to commission and start sometime this coming year and finish up by 2015. During the same period of time, we will also convert our Alaskan Energy Center from coal to natural gas, making it the first all natural gas-fired electric generation asset that Minnesota Power has ever had. And we hope to put that into service by 2015 or 2016. We will idle or shut down or retire Taconite Harbor Unit 3, but we will continue to run Taconite Harbor Units 1 and 2. Those already meet all federal air and state requirements for mercury and for NOx and for sulfur, and so they'll continue to operate. And given that the production tax credit was extended by Congress, it's logical to think that we might build additional wind out in North Dakota in behind our Bison 1, 2, and 3 energy projects. When I think of the energy mix being, by the middle of the next decade, roughly a third renewables, about a third natural gas, and yes, a third coal. We'll continue to keep coal in the mix because the company values fuel diversity. We fully intend to facilitate the delivery of 250 megawatts of carbon-free energy from Canada, namely with our partner Manitoba Hydro, roughly around the 2020 or 2021 timeframe. That facilitation will occur through a great transmission project that we are working on right now called the Great Northern Transmission Line, which effectively will run from the international border all the way down to Duluth. There couldn't be a geographic location better to be in right now than the one Minnesota Power's in. Right in the intersection, if you will, of two renewable superhighways, one out of Canada and one out of North Dakota. When you mix that in with the kind of load growth prospects that we have here in northeastern Minnesota with minerals, mineral development, and all the rest, it's pretty exciting positioning and pretty exciting times. There's a very good likelihood that the company will perhaps add an additional gas combustion turbine or a gas combined cycle unit, depending on load growth in northeastern Minnesota and where these large projects go and develop. But I do see us moving to a period of time where we'll add an additional gas unit, probably in that post-2020 timeframe, to really round out our energy supply mix. We've always prided ourselves on flexibility and being nimble. I think about it in terms of having flexible fuel. I think about it in terms of flexible equipment. And most often I think about flexible people. And so when you put all that together in an organizational framework, it puts our culture, I think, out in front as far as an ability to adapt to change, be ready for change, and frankly take advantage of change. When we make decisions, we try to think externally about them first. What are the likely impacts on customers? What are the likely impacts on communities? What are the likely impacts on regulators and others that have a stake in our business? Part of our development of our EnergyForward strategy, we actually went out and surveyed many customers and many stakeholder groups, and it was just really, really gratifying to hear from more than one audience how much they trust this company, how much they believe this company in terms of setting the tone as far as energy policy on what should be done or how it could be done, how much they appreciate the fact that we consider things like reliability, affordability, and stewardship in balance, and that we really get at the end of the day that we are fundamentally on the other end of their security, comfort, and quality of life, and we've not lost sight of that, and we're not going to lose sight of that going forward here with EnergyForward.